and welcome to that Eurovision site, Eurovision with a Slice of Life. I am Angus, and today I am joined by Julian Fuchs of Lonely Spring, one of the bands competing in Germany's national final, Unser for Liverpool. First of all, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. It's been, like the last few weeks have been quite stressful, but it's stressful in a good way. Like a lot of interviews, a lot of things happening behind the curtains, um, regarding like how the show's gonna be and that kind of stuff. So yeah, a lot of things to do, a lot of things on a bucket list, but in a yeah, stress, but in a good way. So.
That's good to hear. So, for many Eurovision fans, this will be their first introduction to you. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your band.
Um, I mean, I'm Julian. I'm most of my friends call me Jules. And I'm 26. I've founded this band with my brother in. I mean, I don't even really remember when it was because one thing about us is that the four of us have been playing music together for quite some years already. So I'm like our guitarist Manu he's my best friend since fifth grade or something, and we've been playing music since. So, like we started out as school like as school bands and that kind of stuff. So and we started with covering different kinds of pop punk emo songs, like the classics. And I think the first song we ever wrote, like my twin brother and me, was when we were 13 or something. So we started doing all that kind of stuff. We started doing that really early back in the day. And so it's kind of hard to say how long we've been playing together, but we have been for, as I said, for quite some years already. But we've been doing this, and like I think in 2014, our now drummer um, came to the bill, and yeah, since then we've been playing music together, writing songs together, and yeah, like the first 2 years were basically just us touring through Germany, Austria, like playing as much shows as we could, just like getting on the road, getting our name out there, yeah, kind of, yeah, doing what a rock band uh, loves to do most, I guess, playing rock shows. And that's what we did for 3 years. And I think, and we recorded a demo in 2015 and that kind of stuff. And our first real record came out in 2020, which was our first EP, our first real EP, which was called, or is called, Lovers and Strangers. And yeah, then there was a pandemic, obviously, and we couldn't tour that much anymore, or couldn't tour at all. So there was like a little break of, I guess, 2 years, and where we're just playing live streams and that kind of stuff. I mean, everybody knows how that time kind of was like, what that was like, yes. And yeah, and then we released a full length album in 2021, and now we're about to release new songs, to release another EP, and Misfit is the first track of the upcoming record, and it's also the track there with like the one with that is part of a Eurovision Song Contest now. So yeah.
So, you've been busy for quite a while, and there are very exciting times ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So, you just also already mentioned that you're competing with the song Misfit. What can you tell us about it?
Um, it's a lot of people already asked us if Misfit was actually if we wrote it for the Eurovision Song Contest, which we didn't. It just song that came together quite naturally. It was, I don't know, it was just something. I think we recorded it and we wrote it and recorded it in August or September, like something like that last year. And it was the song that like happened to be a song in the least amount of time. Like it was just, it took us, I don't know, I think a day or two, and most of the song was already finished. It was just I don't know. I remember a producer and me just sitting there playing. Like I played the acoustic guitar. He had an electric guitar in his hands, and we were just jamming out and we're just playing. And then we found we had this 4 chord, classic 4 punk rock chords, I guess. And I was just singing along with some random stuff. I was just, it's like it. That's the thing that happens. That usually happens when we write songs. We just I don't know, play some chords, 3, 4, 5 different kinds of chords, and then I just sing along to it. It was some random stuff. I just find a melody or something that fits, and that was also what happened when we wrote that track. And then I sang the lyrics. I've been awake for 3 days. I'm just sitting there, like, I've been awake for 3 days, and that kind of stuck in our heads. And so we went along with that one, and then it just, I don't know, it happened so on one hand so fast, and also so it all yeah, as I said, it all came together so naturally. It was exciting and really interesting how fast we wrote that track. It just felt so, in a weird way, it felt so good to just write it. It just I don't know, it just popped out of us. It was like, it was a bit strange. And yeah, so like yeah, it just took us a day or two, and most of the song was already finished. So, and then we recorded the drums and that kind of stuff. We recorded like lead guitars, but it didn't took us that, yeah, it didn't took us that much time. It didn't take that much time to actually finish it. But what was kind of funny was also I posted a snippet of the track online on TikTok, because yeah, I mean, TikTok is our main platform as a band. It's like the most important one for us of all the platforms we're using. And I don't know, I just posted a snippet because I really like what was already there. So I posted a snippet of the chorus, and I put it online, and it already went a little viral, I guess. And people were really excited about that part, and about those two lines in the chorus, which were been awake for 3 days. I don't know if it was the whole chorus, but I think it was just I've been awake for 3 days, but I don't give a fuck. I ran away from myself, tried to change, but it sucked. That was the 2 lines that I put online. And at that time the song wasn't like fully finished, because even if like the track is like even if the writing of a song is done, there's still a lot of other things that the song has to go through, like the whole mixing thing, mastering, and all that kind of stuff. And that also takes some time, and that's something that is not in our hands, because we don't mix and master our own singles. So yeah, and it kind of went a bit viral online, and people were it actually got to a point where people were really pissed off because we wouldn't put it out, and because it wasn't finished yet, because we're like, okay, like the mixing isn't done yet, like it has to be a track has to be mastered and that kind of stuff. And people were really pissed about us because we posted so much snippets of the track, but wouldn't release it. And they were like, oh, just release it, we need the track, like how long we have to wait. And yeah, it was kind of funny, but also I guess we're getting on a lot of people's nerves. And then we, like 5 days or 10 days or maybe 2 weeks, I don't know, before we actually released the track, there was this thing happening in Germany with the hashtag Unser for Liverpool on the TikTok channel from the Eurovision Germany, and yeah, and our guitarist and our drummer, both of them separately sent me a video of that channel explaining that you can now apply to the Eurovision using just the hashtag Unser for Liverpool. And I don't know, I mean, the song wasn't written for the Eurovision, obviously, but I don't know, it kind of, for me, it seemed like a great fit to that whole thing in some way, because it's like a pop punk kind of punk rocky song, whatever, but also it's, I guess, it has a lot of pop influence and a lot of like it's a song that is easy to access, I think, even for those that are usually not into pop and punk rock or pop punk or emo music, because it has this real big poppy hook, which isn't too typically emo, I guess. It's just like the rest of the song, it kind of is, but that part is, yeah, I think it just felt like a great fit. And so I really did that. I posted a video with the hashtag, and where I said, I just used some, I don't know, cheesy catchphrase. I think I know it was I put a text on the video which said something like, if this or if this TikTok gets 10,000 likes, our manager will let us apply to the Eurovision Song Contest. And in a few days, it didn't just get 10,000 likes, but it got like 33,000 likes, just in a few days. And so, on one hand, there was no turning back, obviously, because like we didn't just reach the goal, but we got beyond that, and so we kind of had to do it. We kind of had to apply it to Eurovision, and also, which was the most some more important thing. On the other hand, there were so many nice comments and so many people pushing us to really to go for it, to really do to give it a try, to give that whole Eurovision thing a try. And that was so heartwarming. It was so cool to see so many people out there actually actually wanting pop punk happening at the Eurovision. So that was kind of cool to see, and that was the one thing that really pushed us to really do it. And so I sent out an application, and then like a few weeks later, we got a call from the team, where they told us that we're actually in. And so that song wasn't really written for it, but it just happened so in some weird way, but in a cool way. And it's also a thing, it happened also, everything was happening so fast, like it was kind of hard to keep track of what was going on at that in these kind of moments, because and it's still a thing that's happening right now, because so many things around us are happening at the moment, and it's kind of crazy to keep track of everything and to actually to process what is going on at the moment, so, which is like meant in a good way. So, and the track itself is called Misfit, which is like the meaning behind the track is basically that we wanted to write a song about all, like a new hymn for all the people that are not fitting in what way ever. So it does depend, like the reason why they're not fitting in doesn't matter, or in what kind of environment they're not fitting in. It's just about all those people that kind of feel the same way and feel that they are not accepted by others, that and need a place to go. So we wanted to create that place, and it's because, I mean, we ourselves weren't weren't the coolest kids in school, obviously, and so we, I mean, sometimes we're tough, I guess, and some not, but it was for us. It took us a long while to figure some things out, and one of those things is that because we back in the day in school and stuff, and like all the time when we were growing up, when we were not fitting in, it was kind of, there were these moments where we thought, okay, if maybe we just change how we behave, and maybe we should just change ourselves in order to fit in and to actually to gain some new friends, to gain some attention from others, and like to change the way you dress just because others don't like how you do it at the moment. And so we went through all of those things, and then but when you do that kind of stuff as a teenager or child, or even as an adult, like there will be like a time where you look into the mirror and you just don't like what you see anymore, because it's not the person that you really are and the person that you want to be. So the songs about that about that topic, that it's more important to be happy with yourself than to mean something. Like it's not, it doesn't matter what other people see in you. It's more important what you see in yourself, and you should just be the way, or act the way, dress the way that you like. Yeah.
Definitely a good message to send out. And also thank you for already asking. Usually I like to ask about the writing process behind the song, but you've already perfectly answered that. I really appreciate that, actually. So for people that are now getting to know you via Misfit, what songs from your discography would you recommend to them to get to know your band further?
I guess, I mean, one of my favorite tracks besides Misfit, which is my favorite track, I guess, because it's always like, like most of the time, it's always the track that like the latest track that you have released that you like the most, obviously, because like the newest one, it's like, yeah, I guess that's a thing. So, but besides that, my favorite, if I had to pick one of those besides Misfit, if I had to pick like some kind of what's the best song of Lonely Spring, I would go with Runaway, I guess. So for me, that's one of my favorite tracks to I mean, I'm not really listening to my own music, so it's kind of hard to say, but really do like that track, and it's one of the tracks that I like playing live the most. So yeah, and also it has a similar vibe, as like Runaway, like Misfit, yeah. So I guess if you like what you hearing when you're listening to Misfit, I guess you could also give like Runaway a spin and we'll be happy about it, I guess. But there are a lot of tracks that kind of go in that direction. So just explore our Spotify page and you will find a few, not just a few tracks, but like a lot of tracks that you might be into.
And it will get the streaming numbers up, and that's always good news.
Yes.
So yeah, you mentioned that you liked playing Runaway a lot live. When people go to see Lonely Spring live, what can they expect? Like, what's the kind of energy you bring to the stage?
Like as mentioned earlier, we've been playing music together for a long time already, so we have a lot of stage experience, which is one of those, I guess, unique selling points that we had as a band. Like just the experience we already were able to gain. I mean, we've been playing, I don't know how many shows exactly we have played in our lives, but I think it's like the numbers probably around 300 to 400 shows in our whole lifetime that we have already played and but played together. So we have quite some experience when it comes to playing live, and therefore I think that subsequently makes us a good live band, I think. And it's that like everybody who's ever been to a Lonely Spring show will probably tell you, at least I hope so, that there's a lot of energy on stage and off stage going on, like in front of stage, but also on stage. We're like just giving it everything that we've got, and we're just like, I mean, music is kind of I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but when we go on stage, it's just a place where we just put like everything into it, like every emotion, every feeling. If it's bad or good, it's really not dependent on that. It's not just like let everything out. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but we're just, there's a lot of energy going on there, and I guess it's a lot of fun to be at a show and just like dance your heart out and just like or like, I mean, you don't have to, but you can jump around, you can do whatever you want, you could just stand there and watch it. And yeah, so it's always, those shows are really, I guess, I mean, for us and for the crowd, are always fun. And yeah, I guess it's just there's just some great energy going on there.
That's good, and really leads me into my next question, which is, I know you probably can't tell me that much about it, but is there anything you can share about what we can expect from your staging at Unser for Liverpool?
We actually decided to not give away any information regarding the show, just because the four of us think that it's more fun for everybody if they watch it the first time live, and it's actually something that they didn't, or I mean, maybe not didn't, but something that they didn't expect, and just show that they have no clue about. And so that's kind of, I guess, better for everyone. So we're not giving away any detail yet, but it's working a lot to make it a great experience for those in front of the TV. And it's actually I guess it's one of the coolest things and performances that we've ever done. So obviously, like before that whole Eurovision thing, we didn't have like the opportunities we have now in terms of what is possible to do on stage and what is not. And because like this thing is, there are a lot of people watching it, and there are a lot of people working behind closed doors to make everything be as best as it could be. So there's a really, really great team working for everybody like that is participating in this event. And yeah, it's going to be great. It's hopefully going to blow your mind. I don't know.
I'm looking forward to being surprised and seeing all that live energy you bring to your normal concerts also coming through on the TV. So as you already said, it's already been like a very wild and exciting ride, but what would it mean for you to win Unser for Liverpool and go to Eurovision?
It's kind of, I don't know what it would mean. It would be probably the craziest thing ever happening to us. I mean, it's a lot of people obviously have asked us that question, like what would be our reaction if we would actually win the national final of Germany. And also a lot of people have asked us like what our reaction was when we heard about the news that we are in the German national final. And to be honest, it's hard to say, because it's something that is just so surreal for us still. It's so crazy. I mean, we applied and to that whole Eurovision thing, and I mean, you do that. I mean, when you do that, I guess you hope for the best, and you just hope that you will actually make it. But when the time comes and you get the call from the team telling you that you're in, and that's a surreal moment, and it's just it's kind of hard to describe it, because it's just everything that is happening now to the band is so it's hard to describe it, and it's just I mean, how does it feel like? I don't know. It's just happening around us, and it's like we gain so much attention just because of the announcement that we're in the final, in a German final. There were so many new follows coming in. There were so many new people, and so many new people started streaming our music, and like there's just so many buzz around us right now, like that amount of attention is something that we have never experienced before in any kind of way. So I guess on one hand we already won in some way, because we just like it put us on the radar of so many new people, which is one of the coolest thing ever for us. And also, I don't know, it was I can't remember when I was that happy, but as I was when I got the call that we're in the German national final. But I guess it would be even, like, the happiness would be even greater when if that thing happens and we were actually the ones winning it. So I don't know. I guess it would be the best feeling ever. But it would be surreal. I mean, it's already surreal that we're doing that, and that we're playing for so many people, like millions of people that are watching it on the screen. Yeah. It's everything's kind of wild that is happening right now.
I can imagine. So this is also a question I just have to ask, and you've probably already been asked a million times. Do you have any favorite Eurovision entries
This year, or of like
in general?
in general? Yeah, kind of. I mean, the one we always say is Måneskin. Is like, because we got to know the band through, I mean, like a lot of people I guess did. We got to know the band through the Eurovision song contest, and have been fans since then. So that was actually one of those bands where we've been watching the live performance, and like I would just really, it was crazy. I was just so shocked about it, how good it was. It was just like, I was watching it, I was like, why on earth is it possible to put on a live show that is this good? Like it should be illegal to play to be so good at making music. It's yeah, that really blew our minds, and we've been fans ever since. So that's one of our favorite bands currently, and one of those bands that I've been listening to the most, like the last few weeks and the last few months. So that's definitely our favorite music group that ever has participated in. But there are a lot of other artists too that I really like. I mean, I did like Lena Mailandrud, obviously. She had a great song, and she had a great performance and everything, so that was fine too. And the same year there was a band called Manga from Turkey, I think, and they were great too. But also, like, I mean, all acts that were part of the Eurovision in the past that, like, musically are kind of, you could describe as rock bands. I guess most of those bands I did like. So Blind Channel, for example. I mean, Verasmus did participate. I think it was last year or the year before, which is kind of crazy, because this was one of those bands that we were listening to growing up, like In the Shadows, which was a huge bop. I mean, everybody knows that track. At least everybody who could listen to could already listen to music. There were, at that time, there was no way around that track. It was being played on the radio all day long. It was a huge hit, and it still is. And so it was kind of crazy that so many years later, they're still a thing, and they are, and that they participate in it in the Eurovision. Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite surreal for me. I was a massive The Rasmus fan when I was growing up, and then also getting to interview them all that, it was quite surreal to see them in Eurovision all of a sudden. But really
Yeah,
good to have them
yeah,
like back in the public eye a bit.
yeah.
So that brings us to my final question. Is there any message you would like to give to the people watching this interview?
What is the thing that we always say is about this whole Eurovision thing is that it's so crazy to see, and this was a thing that we really didn't expect beforehand, was that the whole community behind the Eurovision Song Contest, like it's not just Europe wide, it's like it kind of seems worldwide. I mean, we've been having interviews with people from the US, which are, but I mean, it's the Eurovision Song Contest, but it's still people from all around the world that seem to care about this thing, and it's also the communities. On one hand, I think that's just, or seems so open-minded, and but also so passionate about this whole thing. It's crazy. Like it's like I also, one thing that I always say when it comes to the Eurovision, I think it's kind of like at the Champions League, or maybe rather the European. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's like the thing and the passion that you have in football when everybody's watching Champions League or whatever, but you have it in with music, which is something that I can connect to way more than to sports. So, but yeah, so it's so great we're so grateful for now being officially a part of this whole thing, and we will forever be. I mean, even if we don't win the national final, even if we do, it doesn't matter. I mean, we participate in, and now we are forever in that kind of Eurovision world where, I mean, we're a little thing, but we're still a thing, and it's kind of so, it's so lovely to see, to see all of those people caring so much about this whole thing, and it's so cool to see. There are so many blogs, there are so many websites, so many, I don't know, so many magazines, YouTube channels, whatever, surrounding this whole Eurovision topic, and everybody's so passionate about it, and it's a lovely thing, and we're really grateful to now be a part of it, and thank you all for welcoming us so nicely. I guess we're just really thankful.
And I'm thankful that you sat down with us for an interview. Lonely Spring will be competing in Unser for Liverpool, Germany's national final for Eurovision. It's set to take place the 3rd of March, and if you are in Germany, you can vote for Lonely Spring online before the show, details yet to be revealed, or during the show by calling or by sending a text message. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.